New details tonight, rather this morning in campaign 2014. Both pro and anti-casino forces squared off in Newport last night. This with less than 2 weeks until Election Day. Voters will once again decide whether to turn Newport Grand into a full-fledged casino, something Newport voters turned down in 2010, but statewide voters approved. Eyewitness News reporter Kelly Sullivan is in Newport with more on this hot-button issue.
It was perhaps the first and final debate for voters either for or against questions 1 and 2, that they could hear both sides of the argument at the same time in the same room. And it was a pretty divided room, but most voters already know how they'll be voting on Election Day. A packed auditorium at Newport's Community College of Rhode Island campus, and it was either full of yeses or nos. Members from Jobs for Newport and concerned citizens against casino gambling both made their case, and the folks in the audience already made up their minds.
Well, I came in knowing it was a bad deal for Newport, and I'm leaving knowing it's a bad deal for Newport. There's no need to have a casino here.
My husband works there, my son works there, and if it doesn't pass, then that slot parlor, as they call it, will close.
Former Providence mayor and one of the partners in the Newport Grand expansion says his plan includes turning the slot parlor into an entertainment center while adding 350 jobs. For this to happen, voters would have to agree to adding table games in Newport Grand.
The only way to save this is if table games gets approved, and we can save some jobs, bring more revenue to the state, and bring more revenue to the city of Newport for property tax relief.
But opponents of the expansion say Joe Paolino's promises aren't written down and don't guarantee millions of dollars in revenue for the city.
I don't have a whole lot of faith in any of the promises. Newport's been promised an awful lot before by a lot of other developers, and we've been disappointed and don't want to endure that again.
Voters turned down table games back in 2012, but this issue coming up once again in less than 2 weeks, and ultimately it will come down to voters in Newport. Reporting in Newport with the East Bay Mobile Newsroom, Kelly Sullivan, Eyewitness News.